Welcome to the Big Play Tailgate with Chucky Booms. I'm Tony Zarella. Bob Golick is on assignment. I love when they say that. They're not anywhere. They're not here. They're not here.
I didn't know Bob was on assignment.
They're not here. We're here breaking out Week 13 in the NFL and, of course, looking ahead to a second straight primetime appearance for the Cleveland Browns. This time they're out of the Mile High City. We'll talk Browns and Broncos with a good friend and longtime media expert, Eric Goodman, in just a little bit. We want to start, Chucky, with the Jason La Canfora, longtime CBS and now NFL Insider reporter, who came out a few days ago with the report that Kevin Stefanski would welcome the Browns cutting him loose. The exact words were, he'd be cool with getting out of that cesspool. These are La Canfora's words after talking to NFL executives around the league. He'd be cool with getting out of that cesspool. He could be home for the holidays and prepping for future interviews. There is so much behind this. I believe it 100%, and I believe it stems from the fact that if you're Kevin Stefanski and you're two-time coach of the year, last year winning with three guys not named Deshaun Watson, showing once again that you can coach, and now you're hearing conversations about how the Browns should keep him around for another year. That alone is insulting, but more than that, you have no faith in the guys upstairs and what they did to you by saddling you with this quarterback who can't play.
Well, that's well said. La Canfora's report should be echoing through every single Cleveland sports radio station. Now, it's not, and I am sure this is a huge stain on Berea, so they're sending the notes over to the apologist.
Don't forget, you're on the payroll.
Jason La Canfora, he's not that good. He doesn't know anything. They're doing all of that. I'm with you, only I'll raise it. I believe at 110%. And it's because of what you just alluded to, Tone, which is the fact that these people have been planting stories in the media, as they did to Baker, to get him out, get them all talking about, you can't win with him. They're doing it again, and it's if somebody's got to go, it's got to be Stefanski. They're planning that from over there, and he damn well knows it. And they're doing it because they're the ones that are at fault. And Stefanski is saying that because it proves once and for all you and I are right. It is Andrew Berry's fault. Top to bottom, it's him. But they keep wanting you to believe, like you said, the two-time coach of the year is the guy that's at fault. The guy that had Joe Flacco throwing for 300 yards in 5 straight games. That kind of just had Jameis Winston the past couple of weeks look really good. The thing that really happened is, at the end of last year, the normal thing would have been Joe Flacco returns, let them battle it out in camp. At least Stefanski has a guy he knows he can work with, blah, blah, blah. They cut that off at the knees right away. Did Stefanski do that? No. Barry did that because he said that's going to hurt Deshaun's feelings. All right, so there's one. Next, you're going to play Deshaun, coach, and your offense doesn't work. Two-time coach of the year. Your offense doesn't work with my guy. So your guy, Alex Van Pelt, get rid of him. He's got to go. And as this chaos unfolded, I have it from a very, very trusted, reliable source, someone very well known to Big Play Sports, but I'm going to keep it between me and him, that said, without question, that Bill Callahan left the Browns in much the same way, Tony, that Kyle Shanahan did. He went in, went up, and said, this is ridiculous. You're getting rid of all these coaches. We did a great job last year. We made the playoffs. I'm going to go off with my son.
All right, well, there you go. And the fact that La Canfora uses the term cesspool when it's describing the Browns organization and the situation there that has been, I mean, they found a way to completely tank what they had built up with John Dorsey setting the table for them and what they had accomplished and moving forward. Whether or not Baker would have worked, we can debate that. In fact, we will a little bit with Eric Goodman in just a little bit. But the fact that they moved on from him, and I'll say this, I'll die on this hill, the sin wasn't specifically going out to get Deshaun Watson. Everybody believed he could be that top 10 guy. It was apparent after a while that he wasn't that guy. The sin was coming into this year, sticking with him through 7 games. Through 7 games and letting the season just combust, okay? And it's over, and that's it. And that's it. And now if you're Kevin Stefanski, you got to listen to people say in national show, I'd keep Kevin Stefanski. You know how insulting that is to him?
Every show says he's on the hot seat, which is worse. He's got to sit with his wife and sit there with the television on. I'm on the hot seat when this idiot's the one,
and he knows he can
did
coach.
Everything.
He knows he can coach. He's looking at Jacksonville, okay, and that quarterback. He's looking at Dallas. I don't know about that quarterback. We still don't really know.
Oh, there's places
looking at Chicago with that quarterback. What a mess Eberflus is. We'll get to that. But, yeah, he's looking at these things like, let me get out while I can.
I am not willing to die on the hill that the original sin isn't the Watson thing. I will die on the hill that is the original sin, not because of the football player, but because of a guy who was involved in 25 to 28 pseudo-sexual assaults against women, and we damn well knew that going in, and Andrew Berry went full steam ahead to bring a sociopath to Cleveland, insult and infuriate every woman in Northeast Ohio, every dad like you who has a beautiful daughter that has to sit there and have to explain, well, honey, here's what this guy did. And you can't really say it because if you want to read what he did to these women in, say, the New York Times or Wall Street Journal, you don't have anything that foul in the penthouse letters I used to read in 8th grade. So the original sin is he's a sociopath. He never should have been brought here. You're exactly right. The biggest sin out of the ones we just talked about is who sat there for 7 weeks and allowed this to happen? Not Kevin Stefanski.
And that's why he wants out. When we come back and the tailgate rolls on, we're going out to Denver, and Eric Goodman will join us to talk about the matchup on Monday night and much more. Stick around. All right, back here on the tailgate, Browns and Broncos, another primetime appearance for the Browns, second straight primetime appearance, this one on Monday night out in Denver. Let's go out to Denver. Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports Radio, longtime friend, phenomenal talent, and a guy who's really plugged in. Goody, great to see you. Hope you had a great holiday, and what do you expect on Monday night?
The Broncos are the better team. They're the more talented team. They have the better quarterback. They are at home, and they are on a roll. The Browns certainly have their fair share of problems. I'm sure you've addressed that over the course of weeks. I expect the Broncos to win this game, but then again, it's the old any given Sunday, any given Monday, any given Thursday. Later on, it'll be any given Saturday. The Broncos are the better team offensively, defensively, better coach, better special teams. Doesn't mean they'll win, though.
Can't argue with you. Hey, before the break, we were talking, Chucky and I, about the Kevin Stefanski report from Jason LaCanfora, and you and I were talking on the phone earlier today. You know, people in this area keep going back a few years to Baker Mayfield, the number one pick in the draft. He took him to the playoff win over the Steelers. If it had just worked out, if they had not moved on from him for Deshaun Watson, where would we be today? And you were telling me you don't believe Baker would have been happy. It wasn't just about the contract. It would not have worked out with Stefanski.
I was told by a source incredibly close to Baker Mayfield, he was not happy with the way Kevin Stefanski collaborated with him. Baker Mayfield, strong personality, you know that already. He wanted to be part of the game plan. I don't mean sitting in on meetings and designing things. He wanted to be included. Great quarterbacks want to be included in the game plan. Baker Mayfield at that point of his career, he had one excellent season, but when you look at his overall body of work, he wasn't a great quarterback. Did he deserve franchise money? You can make the case probably not. But my understanding is he did not have a great relationship with Stefanski because Stefanski said, I want to do it this way. Baker had other ideas. And Stefanski's attitude was, dude, you're the player. I'm the coach. I'm going to feed you what I want to feed you. Sit down and eat it. And I don't think Baker is wired that way.
I agree with that. And it's funny because
wait, Chuck, you're agreeing with me? Yeah. I've been told about you. You will take the opposite approach of whatever I say. Sky is blue, you'll say it's red. So this is a monumental moment for your career that you've actually agreed with somebody.
I agreed with you on part of it, But I
see, first, no, you can't go. I agree with you now. It's part of it.
About who I am, and I appreciate it very much. I am going to tell you where you're dead wrong. I was just going to start by being polite, since you're Tony's friend. If you want me to resort back to who I really am, this is going to be fantastic. But at any rate, Baker does not want, he's a total alpha, does not want to be told what to do. And the problem was he was brought there by John Dorsey. And so Dorsey and Baker are two total old football guys. That's how they roll. And the minute that Andrew Berry and Stefanski get together and then Dorsey says, I'm out of here, that's when things started to go sideways. And then Andrew Berry's the one that said, play him all year with a torn labrum. And that was so they could plant stories in the Cleveland press. You can't win with him. You can't win with him. And the thing I vehemently disagree about is they could have won with Baker here, because the year they get to the playoffs, they're 5 minutes from the AFC Championship game in Buffalo, and Kevin Stefanski punts, and Baker was yelling on the sideline, it's a foot to go. If you punt, we might not get the ball back. And what happened? We never got the ball back.
Well, the one thing I can say about John Dorsey is you can make the case. Well, starters, you can't make the case about this. It's just a fact. Talk about a guy who's not well liked and wrecks salary caps. But if there's anybody who knows how to evaluate quarterbacks, it is him. He is responsible, if I'm not mistaken, for Brett Favre going to Green Bay, and he is absolutely responsible for Patrick Mahomes going to Kansas City, and then brought in Baker Mayfield.
Well, it's
he
interesting,
is a
though,
very, very bright football mind when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. It's just nobody wants to work with him.
He set the table, and he's doing it in Detroit. And listen, it's interesting what Chuck said, though. So you get, and what you were saying, so you get Stefanski laying down the law with Baker Mayfield, and then he leaves. You bring in Deshaun Watson. That decision goes above Kevin, and now the offices upstairs, they're laying down the law to Kevin that you got to play him. In other words, it's not the same dynamic with Baker, who was the first pick in the draft. And I know what you're going to say, Chuck. It's because Berry didn't draft Baker.
That's exactly what it is. I called it Goody all the time on my national radio show, Kylie and Booms, which we also got to do locally here in Cleveland a few years back. It's the song My Guy. Whenever these schmucks get their new job, they do not want to win with the guys that the other guy picked, in particular quarterback and a lot of times coach. And so they did everything they could to undermine Baker Mayfield. 1, because he didn't draft him. 2, because he's a John Dorsey guy. And all you got to do, Eric, is go back and look. Every chance Andrew Berry got to slide another John Dorsey guy out the door is what has weakened this franchise. From Kareem Hunt going back to Kansas City to Jarvis Landry, who was the first guy to come into Cleveland, change the locker room, and do everything the right way, and he couldn't wait to get rid of him either.
So you can point the finger at that guy, but the truth is it all starts with ownership. It's ownership that allows it. And your ownership has been so lousy for such a long time. And Tony knows this as well as anyone. I cover all the teams out here in Denver. The Rockies' ownership is so bad, they can't get out of their own way. And if you look at the worst teams in the league right now, most of them are tied to bad ownership. It's Haslam that allows this stuff.
Yep.
If Ken Dorsey knows it, if Dorsey knows anything, is it Dorsey? Am I getting the name?
Well, Andrew Berry now.
Okay. You got to let your guys do their thing, but you can't let them go totally rogue. You had something good going in Cleveland, and you had a guy walking in with a wrecking ball and taking all of it out. And ownership is responsible for that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Stick around, bud.
Can I just say this real quick? That is right. That's 2 times I've agreed. And what it is John Dorsey, who you seem to know very well, his personality. He is a football guy. He told all the other non-football people, stay over on that side of the building and I'll handle it. They can't stop meddling. They need to let the football guy do it. So then when they got rid of Dorsey, they went to get the collaboration crew so they can have groupthink, and groupthink will sink any organization. It can sink a Chick-fil-A franchise if you want. So that doesn't work, and that's what they did.
But they're Ivy Leaguers, Chuck.
Oh, that's right.
See, Chuck, you've already spoke beautiful words to me. You probably don't know this, but the fact that you use the word schmuck in this segment, and I'm Jewish, I have an affinity for you now in a way of reverence I can't even explain.
Well, there's much more to come. Stick around. We'll be right back on the tailgate. And back here on the tailgate with Chuck Booms, I'm Tony Zarella, Eric Goodman from Denver. Goody, second straight week for the Browns in prime time. Of course, they got knocked off the other one. They just took that away from them in a few weeks. But here's the deal. They go out to Denver, and I look at the Broncos from afar, and I kind of feel like they're in the position that the Browns thought they were in a couple of years ago with Baker, and then we're hoping they'd get to with Deshaun as you found your quarterback.
Yeah, oh yeah. Bo Nix is the guy, make no mistake about it. And I'm not going to make excuses for the kid. He is a rookie. Okay? He's a rookie. Take away his first 2 games. Again, he's a rookie. Let's look at what this kid has done over his last 10. And that is a pretty good sample size, specifically for a rookie quarterback. Over his last 10 games, he's accounted for 20-plus turnovers. He has been sacked a total of 15 times. He has accounted for 2 or less turnovers. There are only 4 quarterbacks over the last 10 years, and I'm not making an apples to apples comparison. But when you look at the last 10 years and you look at a 10-game stretch, only 4 other quarterbacks have had 20-plus turnovers or 20-plus touchdowns accounted for and 2 or less turnovers over a 10-game stretch over the last 10 years. Those guys are Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, Breeze, and Nix. I'm not simply a stat guy like you guys. You watch with your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't let your eyes are not going to lie to you. Stats will. Bo Nix is the real deal. He just is.
Why does it work?
Perfect. What's that?
Yeah, why does it work so well out there for him?
Because Sean Payton's the right coach for him. He found his Drew Brees. And by the way, Drew Brees not even close to being as mobile as Bo Nix. He gets it. He doesn't make the same mistake twice. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes on the field. He doesn't get sacked a lot. He's been sacked 15 times over his last 10 games. Look at the top quarterbacks in the league. Got it. Not a comparison. 2 of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league playing at a high level, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. It was Peyton that brought this up, and this seems counterintuitive. A lot of fans will say the guy's getting sacked a lot because the offensive line stinks. Our offensive line's terrible, man. No, it's not necessarily your offensive line. Let's look at Russell Wilson's career. He was always sacked a lot because he wanted the home run ball, held onto the ball too long, and his processor wasn't very fast. Trust me, an offensive line in Seattle with Russell Okung was pretty good, but he gets sacked all the time.
And you know who led the league in sacks, Eric? Adding to the ridiculous decision to bring him here, Deshaun Watson was getting sacked more than anybody. I don't give a damn what his yards were, what his touchdowns were, what his rating was. He also held onto the ball, ran around, the line can't protect him, and he got sacked. That's one. Number 2. Back to you being Jewish and me saying schmuck. I want you to know that one of my dear friends, a great Jewish comedian, Brad Garrett, also very tall. Brad Garrett's one of my best friends, and every time we work together, he said, somewhere, Booms, I guarantee there is a Jewish person in your family. You could not be this talented and this funny if there wasn't someone Jewish in your family. So I had to get that off to you.
I appreciate the knowledge.
Yeah. Now back to Bo Nix. It's funny, Tony. Eric said, your eyes don't lie. Well, I agree with that, except my eyes didn't lie when he was at Auburn, and he was hot garbage. And my eyes didn't lie when he was in Oregon, and I didn't think he was good there either. So this goes to what you said about how great a job Sean Payton has done, and also how important a coach that has more control than, as Tony alluded to, Stefanski has no control here. Nothing. Payton has all the control, and look what he's been able to do.
Bo Nix is the right quarterback for Sean Payton, but Bo Nix has talents that I don't think a lot of people saw in college. He is much faster than people think. He has a better arm than people think, because you will listen, for all I know, he's going to, vomit all over his shirt on Monday night. And then everything that I'm saying is going to sound ridiculous. He consistently throws the ball downfield. He doesn't take sacks, doesn't make the same mistake twice, doesn't make a lot of mistakes with the ball. I mean, 2 times this year, he's ran the ball for over 60 yards. He has all the things that you want in a quarterback, and he is only going to get better. I don't know if you are Star Wars fans, but
yes,
to me, he's like a young Padawan. He is only going to get stronger as he gets older. And oh, by the way, he doesn't have this great crop of really talented wide receivers. He doesn't have a David Njoku. When you look at his running back situation that he has behind him, 5 guys on the Broncos this season have led or have tied for the most carries in a game. He's now loaded with a ton of talent around him. Once he gets that talent, and oh, by the way, I'm not talking about Jerry Jeudy. Hope you're enjoying that. And I know that he's playing better. I can tell you right now, Jerry Jeudy could not have gotten out of the door fast enough. Enjoy him, have him, and he's all yours.
All right, so on the Star Wars thing, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat right here, right now.
Yes.
Bo Nix. More Mark Hamill, more Hayden Christensen.
Oh, well, both guys turned out to be angry at the end, and one guy started a little sooner. Bo Nix is not angry, but he carries a ton of confidence. He's incredibly well liked in that locker room. He is an Obi-Wan Kenobi. How's that?
Oh, okay.
Goody. Stick around and play ahead or behind with us. I haven't won since Bill Clinton was in office, so maybe it changes today. I don't know. But stick around. We'll play it. We'll be right back on the tailgate. And we're back here on the tailgate. We've been joined by Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports Radio. And Goody, this is a first for you, so buckle your seatbelt. It is time for...
Mr. Goodman, it's time for the game show Sweeping the Nation. From San Diego, California to Kennebunkport, Maine, and from Seattle, Washington down to Key West, where I'll be spending the long holiday weekend with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, where he plans on teaching me all the finer things about illegal use of the hands. It's ahead or behind.
So here's the deal. Bob Golick's usually here, Goody. He's on assignment, as we say in the business, and so it's me v. you.
Yes.
And because it's a home game for me, the altitude is not going to help.
And Eric, you have not seen the list. Tony Zarella has not seen the list, but I hold in my hands right here the list. And today's ahead or behind is the top 20 lake effect snow counties in the United States of America.
Wow, that's
which are the snowiest counties in America that gets the most lake effect snow. The reason is, just so you know, good, we are under a lake effect snow warning yesterday, today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Other than that, it's going to be nice here.
He'll be good at this because he's a Chicago native, so it's not like there's
no
lakes in Denver, but he knows all about this.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm going
by the way,
Goody right
I have
now.
another ace in the hole besides Chicago, but go ahead.
All right. We're going to start with Tony. That way you can be ahead when you get to answer. Good. All right. We'll start with Tony.
Yep.
All right. Here we go, Tone. It is the 20 top snowiest lake effect counties in the United States. Right in the middle of the list, this is what you have to keep in mind, good, is Cuyahoga County, Ohio.
Right in the middle.
Cuyahoga County, Ohio is right in the middle.
By the way, can I cut you off real quick?
Okay.
I can tell you one of them that's top 3 already.
You already know.
I live there. So I live there.
Okay. Well, we'll wait to see if I get to that. We'll see if it's there. But
Okay.
right now, we have to pick one that Tony won't get, which is basically any of them. Cuyahoga County, right in the middle of the list, you guys, is Ottawa County, Michigan. Ottawa County, Michigan, Tony. Ahead or behind?
Behind.
Ryan? And he's off and running. I'm so sorry, Tone. Ottawa County is ahead.
Right out of the gate.
Now, for his first ever appearance on the game show Sweeping the Nation, Ahead or Behind, here's our own Eric Goodman, a Chicago native that knows snow well. In the middle of the list, E, is Cuyahoga County, Ohio. Is Chautauqua County, New York, ahead or behind?
It's behind because it's nowhere near a lake.
Not only is that incorrect, the lake is Lake Chautauqua.
No, I've been. Hold on, stop. I have sailed and boated on Lake Chautauqua.
Okay.
It's incredibly small. Whatever stats you have, I can promise you, it's not a big enough lake.
This
to-
is you've heard of
No,
it.
sorry, I disagree with your list already. This game.
This is like Eberflus's
yeah,
reasoning
yeah.
after the game.
Yeah,
Great.
I was gonna say, Coach Eberflus, save that, will you please? We're not done.
Okay.
And by the way, Ryan, our producer, Ryan, you know, many ways these games are just a battle of the top wits. We now clearly have a battle of half wits as we enter into round two. 0-0, but here we go. Tony Zarella, Cuyahoga County, your home county, right here in the middle of the list. Is Saginaw County, Michigan, ahead or behind?
I'm going to say behind.
Oh, wow, Eric, he's on the board. Saginaw County, kind of around the Detroit metro.
Right.
I
You
thought
weren't going to trick me because you said Michigan.
I was trying, E, to trick him with that. All right, now Eric's got to get back on the board. Our esteemed guest from Denver, top radio guy out there, top TV guy with CNN, knows Chicago snow. Didn't seem to know Lake Chautauqua that well. Here we go.
I've been there.
Cuyahoga County.
It's
You
a
gotta
tiny
go
little
back.
lake.
Cuyahoga County, Ohio, right in the middle of the list, buddy. Is Ashtabula County, Ohio, ahead or behind
Gimme.
Cuyahoga?
It's a gimme.
Well, where's Ashtabula
Oh,
County?
no, wait a minute.
Well, he doesn't know.
Well, so what? Nobody knows where they're at. They're all lake effect counties, all of them.
This is a gimme.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I had to guess, just by the way that you're saying it, so you're saying does it get more lake effect snow than Cuyahoga County?
Yes. Is it ahead or behind?
I'll say it gets more snow.
That's
How's
not
that?
the name of the game.
Yeah.
The game is not called It Gets More Snow.
You got the ding. We're
The
tied.
game is called Ahead or Behind.
It's ahead.
Follow the host,
It's ahead.
or I turn into a very nasty Bob Barker.
He's got it. You got it, Goody.
right.
By the way, at home of Urban Meyer, it is east of Cleveland. It's right in the snow belt.
It's right on the border of Pennsylvania.
Okay, there
All
we
right,
go.
and they got the most snow last night. Good. All right, 1-1. This is a hell of a game right now. Cuyahoga County in the middle of the list of the snowiest lake effect counties in the United States of America. Here's a county that we all know from the election on November 5th, because if President Trump could carry this county, he would win Michigan. He did carry it big, and it's in a very key location. How about Macomb County, Michigan, ahead or behind Cuyahoga County?
I'm going to say ahead.
And he's back to his old ways. And Eric, that now puts you in the driver's seat, partner, a chance to get right here and have the lead.
Okay.
Cuyahoga County in the middle of the list of the top 20 snowiest lake effect counties. I gave you an Indian one with Chautauqua. I'll hit you with another Indian. Marquette County, Michigan, ahead or behind?
Behind.
Oh!
All right. Now, where
we got time for one more each. I'm going for the
one
win.
more each. All right, here we go. If he gets this, Eric, you're our guest, esteemed guest. You will have a chance to tie.
Okay.
If he misses, you have a chance to walk away.
It's a walk-off.
with the big prize. Yeah.
Marquette
All right,
County, I believe, is Milwaukee. Is that right?
Marquette County is Milwaukee. Yes. All right. No, that's Wisconsin. This is Marquette County, Michigan.
Oh,
right, here we go.
see, you guys have the home court advantage because this is all in your neighborhood. I live in Denver. I mean, this should be graded on a curve here.
Is Vail, Colorado. I had
A lot of lakes.
Oh, that's right. That's not a lake. All
No
right,
lake
here we go.
affects it.
Cuyahoga County. Tony, for the lead in what could possibly be one of your biggest and first win ever. Is Lake County, Ohio, right next door
Ohio.
to Cuyahoga County, Ohio. Ahead or behind?
Thank you very much for this one. It is resoundingly ahead.
Chuck, I see a Lake County, Indiana. I don't see a Lake County, Ohio.
Oh my God! I saw the Ohio underneath. Tony,
This is your game. This is your game, Chuck.
They're not on here. Like I saw Lake County. The one underneath is Ohio.
Thanks, Ryan.
And by the way, I was so excited because that would have been wrong according to this. But all right, another chance for Tony. A quickie, and we'll make it Genesee. One of the worst beers I've ever had, Eric, in
New
my
York?
life.
New York?
Genesee Cream Ale. Genesee County, New York. Ahead or behind?
I have
Ahead.
that one. Tony,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some help here.
Yeah,
The answer is ahead.
that's what I said.
Way ahead.
Yeah, it's ahead.
And that's cheating, damn it. Go ahead.
I'm helping him out. I'm
It's
helping him out.
wrong.
For the
Good,
help,
my
it was
friend.
wrong.
It was wrong.
There
What?
you go. Cheaters never
He
prosper.
set me up for the
It's
win. Now he's going for the win.
Now he's going for the win. I like this guy's style. You bought
wait, no,
you
no.
bought hook,
I'm
line, and
surprised.
sinker. You know what he just did? He just John Dorsey'd you. He said they're drafting Sam Darnold, and you said, yes, they are. No, they're not. Eric Goodman for the pride of CNNSI. This is for
Oh,
the
you know
win.
what? Hold on. Can I say something?
Yes.
Genesee County, I thought that was New York,
It is.
not Michigan.
Right. That's what I said.
It is
Genesee-
Genesee County,
what?
New York. That's what I said.
Genesee County, New York?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was behind.
All right.
I'm trying to build him up here with the whole for the pride of CNNSI, and he's still going back to Genesee County. What the hell do you care? It was wrong. He missed it.
He's
This
my
is for
friend,
you
and
to
I
go
protect
for the
my friend.
win. All right, here we go. He's ready. If I can pronounce this right, it'll be a win. Here we go. All on the line for Eric Goodman out of Denver. Cattaraugus County, New York. Cattaraugus County, New York. Ahead or behind of Cuyahoga County?
How are you spelling that, by the way?
With a C.
Right, but just spell it for me because I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Cattaraugus.
Would you like me to put it in a sentence? Now it's become the spelling bee, for Christ's sake.
Cattaraugus County.
Cattaraugus. Cattaraugus. Would you like me to spell county?
I'll just make the assumption. Well, Cattaraugus, because I used to live in Buffalo. That's why.
Yeah.
So, really, it's not about winning or losing to Tony because I don't want to beat my friend.
It's about saying ahead or behind is what it is.
I'll say it's ahead.
Oh, he got it at the buzzer like Steph Curry from half court. Eric Goodman, if I may do an impression, I can't believe what I just saw. A rookie playing ahead or behind has taken down Tony Zarella.
Yep. You know what? At
By
this
the way,
point, I'm playing for the number one pick. But
Is Erie County top 3?
It's not only top 3, it's number 1.
I used to live there. That's how I know.
All right, here we
Remember
go.
when Steve at the beginning, I'm like,
Here are
what's
the
that?
counties. Here are the counties. Erie County, number 1. Cattaraugus, number 2 in New York. Chautauqua, your favorite place to go, number 3 in New York. Niagara County, now that's Buffalo.
All of those areas are Buffalo.
That's
All
New
of those
York.
are Western New York.
Wayne County, New York, number 5. Ashtabula, Ohio, 6. Ottawa County, Michigan, 7. Berrien County, Michigan, 8. Luce County, or Luce County, depending how they want to say it, Michigan, that's 9. And Marquette County, Michigan, rounds out the top.
Congratulations on the win. Goody, stick around for one more. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have to get your address to send you the collapsible drinking mug.
That's right. All right, we'll be right back. Tough to make players lose out. You can make the coaches maybe lose out. But at this point, I'm losing out on a head or B. I want the number 1 pick next year.
I understand.
Goody of Mile High Sports Radio, Eric Goodman. Let me ask you a question. I don't just say this. I really mean it. Great respect. You're very plugged in. This guy's working the phones all the time, incredibly well prepared. I've been on shows with him before. He knows his stuff. And so I know.
Chautauqua, not so much.
Not that one. Right. But so from afar, people you talk with, what you've seen, what's your take on Jameis Winston? Because for us, it looks like you can't bring Deshaun Watson back. That's another segment. But the point is, in this offense, Winston seems to give you what he gives you, which is he can throw for 300 yards. He may get picked twice, and maybe he comes back and wins the game. What's your take?
I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I don't know if he ever truly was a franchise quarterback, but he's doing good things for you guys, right? And really, that's all that matters. Maybe he turns into a Rich Gannon, where later in life he becomes a better quarterback as time goes on. The one thing that I look at is, how many times does a guy get sacked? That is a big thing to me, especially now that I look at Bo Nix in a very different light because of how good he is at avoiding traffic and escaping. Jameis Winston has been sacked 12 times when I look at this game specifically. He's been sacked 12 times in 4 games. And he's facing a defense that is not only great at getting to the quarterback I think they lead the league in pressures, but they sack the quarterback a lot as well. He's not easy to bring down. I'll ask you, how good do you think your offensive line is?
Not well, not good.
It's been beat up all year, but they're blocking, because you brought this up with Russell Wilson, where they all blamed, the offensive line stinks. And you were right. It wasn't the line. It was Russell Wilson. Jameis Winston is the African-American version of Joe Flacco last year. And what they're doing, Eric, is they're running Stefanski's offense, which he got from Minnesota. It's the Gary Kubiak play-action pass. It's the West Coast going all the way back to Bill Walsh, and he seems to fit this. And I think that's why the Browns are a threat to come in there, weather aside, and you'll have to tell us that at the end here, but weather aside, I think the Browns are a threat to come in there and win because of the way that Winston has adapted so quickly to the Stefanski play-action offense as Flacco did.
The other thing that has really helped Jameis Winston is I believe he got LASIK surgery, didn't he? He was throwing a ton of interceptions in Tampa, if I'm not mistaken, got LASIK surgery, and his eyes were better. I think his eyes were a big problem for him early on in his career. And now clearly his eyesight...
I did not know that. I just was told that he really liked using Plexiderm on dates. I don't know about the LASIK.
I guess that's 2 things. I mean, when he was with New Orleans... When he was with New Orleans, and I believe that was Sean Payton's last year there, right?
Could be,
he had 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So the guy can play. He certainly has talent. No one's going to argue that. So is he a good quarterback? Yes. Is he top 15? No. Is he better than what you had before? Absolutely.
All right, Goody. Eric Goodman, Mile High Sports Radio. Thanks so much, but it's great to see you. And look, good luck with your quarterback and with your football team. I know what that team means to that area out there. Real quick question. Try to do this in 20 seconds, and then we got to go. Does Deion stay there at Colorado?
Oh, wow. I think he will unless the Raiders, not the Cowboys, either team, but the Raiders, if they have the 1st or 2nd pick in the draft and they have the opportunity to draft Shedeur, then it becomes a wild card.
Yeah, good point.
Because I think Deion would like to coach his son.
Eric Goodman, great to see you, buddy.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate
Hey, guys,
it.
nice to see you.
Great stuff.
We'll talk soon. The tailgate rolls on. NFL picks straight ahead, and we got to address this disaster, by the way, with the Chicago Bears. We'll be back. Stick around. So there I was, like everybody else in the country, if not the world, definitely in the country. Fireplace rolling on the couch, watching the Lions and the Bears. And I've said this for weeks. I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl. Be like the Browns winning it. They've never been. It's a great story, but when a game is close, I start rooting for the underdog and hoping
And
for
here they came back.
hoping for a fantastic finish.
You got
and
one.
Here are the Bears, and Matt Eberflus, their head coach, dead man walking, finds yet another way to tighten the noose for him. What a blunder at the end of that game.
Unconscionable. I want you to know, Ryan and the crack staff here took the time to look up Eberflus. The nationality is British-Irish. It's very old school, almost a Gaelic in there. And then I looked that up, and Eberflus actually translated means dumb son of a bitch. So what's interesting is there's 32 seconds to go, and everybody is yelling at the screen, what are you doing? What are you doing? Everyone in the world knows it's wrong, but Ryan has what the coach thinks about how he did.
So we're at 36 seconds right there. And our hope was, because it was third going into fourth, that we would re-rack that play at 18 seconds, throw it in bounce, get it into the field goal range, and then call the timeout. And that's where it was, and that was our decision-making process on that. Again, we were outside the field goal range, so we needed to get a few more yards in there, as close as we can get, and then we were going to call timeout, and that's why we held that last timeout at the end of the game. So, like I said, disappointing. Disappointing for the players. They put a lot of work in a short week.
He thinks somewhere someone's buying this. That's what he thinks.
Later on in the clip, he says, I think it was the right thing to do. First of all, let me just show you that I am now a owner, general manager of a team. Tony, you're coming in to be my coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all set to sign you. There's a clause at the bottom of the contract. I want you to read it very carefully. If you ever leave a game with a timeout in your pocket, you're fired.
Right. Contract null and void.
Nothing.
That's it.
You get nothing after that.
It's a baffling. He's acting as though it wasn't on me. I looked up and we had 7 seconds left, and the strategy changes. No, the strategy changed because you didn't call timeout.
He even said 36 seconds. When he
incredible.
sacked, it's 32 seconds. You have a multitude of things you can do. You can throw one inbounds and all that stuff, and still you'd need 12 seconds to run the field goal unit. They practice it. Blah, 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 blah. He said in the clip later on, when it gets down to 12 seconds, he goes, oh, well, then this one thing is out. Then down to 7. Then we had no choice. We had to do it. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, no choice? That's like OJ testifying and going, well, once I killed Nicole and Ron shows up with the sunglasses, I had no choice. I had to off him too.
Oh.
I mean, for God's sakes, what is he talking about? This is a Chudzinski moment. He should never have been allowed to get on the plane back to Chicago. Should have fired him in Detroit and told him to take the Greyhound.
Well, Chuck, Christmas has come early for the Chicago Bears, as a matter of fact. Breaking news here. In the first time in the Bears' 100-plus year history, they've made an in-season coaching change. They are firing Matt Eberflus. Offensive coordinator Thomas Brown will take over as the Bears' interim head coach the rest of this season.
Well, there you have it. So they did let him back on the plane just to get back to pack, and then you're out again.
Do we know that? Do we know that he wasn't forced onto a bus? By the way, good luck to Thomas Brown. You've got Vaseline on your shoes already to be out the door next. But give the Bears credit. There was such a backlash to this jackass stepping to a microphone saying, I did everything right. No.
Great job, Ryan, on that.
Yeah, great.
And here's the thing. We got about probably a minute left or so. Are the Bears, how would I say, Chicago, Dallas, Jacksonville, what's the more attractive of those jobs to you? Looking at the quarterback situations.
Well, It would have to be Chicago.
Right.
And because of the weapons, too, and the young defense.
But
I
bad
don't
owners.
trust Dak Prescott.
But bad owners. Although maybe they did the right thing finally this time.
Yeah, all three have bad owners. All three have bad owners. So if you're Stefanski and you walk on and you go, God, I'm done with Jimmy and D has them. And they go, welcome to the Bears.
Right. But you
Where
got
we
Caleb Williams.
we haven't done anything right since Jim McMahon.
You got Caleb Williams.
Yep.
You get Trevor Lawrence, obviously, down there in Jacksonville. And you got Dak, who I think that, I don't know. I mean,
A last wild card I'll throw in. Or if you're Stefanski, as your buddy Eric brought up, and the Raiders might have the number one pick or whatever and all that stuff, would you like to go somewhere as a two-time coach of the year and have a say in who the pick is?
yeah. What do you think, Ryan?
I would say Chicago's probably the most attractive destination. You still have DJ Moore locked up. Keenan Allen might come back or go back to LA as he's been talking about. But Caleb Williams, you have a young superstar franchise who you should quarterback potentially, and you should have got rid of Matt Eberflus the second he got in here and restarted that regime with a new head coach that was smarter than Eberflus. That would be a Stefanski
And
destination
I'm
better
going
than
to
Cleveland.
agree with him in closing because I just thought of this. If Stefanski walked in and took that job in Chicago, his first phone call is to Alex Van Pelt. He will get him to come back to his staff and run the offense. They'll run the Kubiak play action pass offense. Do that with Williams at quarterback with those weapons he mentioned and you mentioned. That Bears job looks sweet.
Yeah, it does. Good work, gentlemen. Thanks, Eric Goodman. We'll see you next week on the Tailgate.
Go Browns!